Actually, speaking of lights, I'm just gonna like really go off topic right now. Have you guys heard of oh fuck, what's it called? Manufactured. Uh, so basically, what I'm trying to say is that light bulbs, they actually have found ways to make a light bulb very very efficient or like very that
Oh, I
lasts
heard of that.
last forever. And basically,
Yeah.
they but that is a bad business model for light bulb
Oh,
companies
yeah, I
because
heard of that.
if you have
Yeah.
a light bulb that never goes out, no one would ever buy newer light bulbs. So this idea of oh fuck, what's it called? Uh, intentional complacency? No, intentional. But fuck. Anyway, they intentionally make the light bulb so that it is not, it won't last forever, so that you have to replace it, and that this idea, kind of like I hate this idea because why fix something that's broken, right? And so I guess people have found different ways to implement that instead of having it break. They just introduce something that's better, shinier, that the consumer wants better, like the iPhone. Probably you can use an iPhone for like I don't know 10 years, whatever. But then since
Hey,
because they come out
there's a
every
theory on
time.
that.
Well, yeah. So that aside, let's say that Apple didn't purposely put in a software that breaks your phone. Let's say that doesn't happen. Every year they come out with a newer model. It's shinier. It's better. Than the last generation. People will want that, and I think that is kind of it's so interesting in human psychology. It's because it's new, we want it, and that's how each like company kind of survive, right? Because each year they just have to make the same profits or better than last year, and
Wait, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, keep going. I mean, I have two things to say to that. Like, I mean, I'm all for like light bulbs going longer, but I think uh there's a reason. Like, it's basically you buy, let's say you're buying a Philips light bulb,
Hmm.
and when you buy it, they guarantee that they'll have this type of lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they make it longer, oh wait, I'm not necessarily sure, but I'm speculating that if they make it longer, uh, uh some light bulbs may be able to get there and some may not.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever time that they promise you now is like the overall standard that they put on themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
like actually there's a lot of cases, for example, like let's say you're buying a computer and the processor is clocked at a certain clock speed, but some may be able to do. I mean, most of it may be able to do better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that they clock it at this, like they're like they guarantee that it will function well. It won't overheat. Blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. And just okay. That's the first point. So I think that they made a stand for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much like backwards they said it, but yeah, that was one point. And another point is like I actually like I actually like. I mean, not like. I mean, it's efficient for economy needs to incentivize people to buy more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like if you can have a thing that would last you forever, then there won't be economy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I guess I do.
Which of you lads like to change fucking light bulbs? I don't.
I don't know. Use LEDs then.
I guess yeah. I guess to your point, it is good to have an ever improving product, right? Because let's say that we stopped. Let's say at like 1900s, we make the perfect light bulb, and we stopped. LEDs would never come out, because we would stop innovating. We're like, okay, this is the perfect light bulb. Everybody who makes light bulb, you can go home now. Then we would still have like a shitty light bulb that like super hot or whatever, incandescent or whatever. But now with
Yeah.
like LED, and there's like with TVs, there's like OLED and shit like that. So I
Yeah.
guess in a sense, it's like a necessary evil to like push out the old and kind of have create this
Yeah.
artificial competition that each company has to do better than last year. So how can we do
See
that?
that I'm fine with. Like you
Mhm.
know, like you didn't even say the most evil part of the whole light bulb business. Uh,
Oh, the
wait,
the mafia, the light bulb mafia or whatever.
I'm not sure about that, but like okay, I'm gonna say it and you could tell me.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so like Philips is like a really big user in light bulbs,
Uh,
right? I also like learned this just because I was in the light bulb industry. So basically,
oh,
there are regulations,
okay.
but and the regulations are keep getting stricter and stricter, so that like you can't just like make a light bulb or whatever light bulb you want, because people uh, agree to that like that those
Standard.
parameters, and they're like, oh, I trust that rating.
Mm.
But who made those regulations? Who made those ratings?
It's
Oh
company.
Philips,
shit.
Philips, and other big companies
Yeah,
came
yeah.
together and be like, let's make this so that newcomers can't just join the market. See,
Mm.
It's
this
pretty
is
much an
this is real
oligopoly, right?
evil.
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
to be.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean they come together and they just set the rules.
yeah.
I mean, the difference between the laundry industry and the Philips is one is a making profit oligopoly, one is a suffering oligopoly.
I just feel like there's a lot of competition in your industry. Like
Yeah.
there's too much competition,
'Cause it's considered
And-
apparel, right? 'Cause it's
No,
and
a
it's
certain-
actually,
driving
our-
margins
our-
too low for a lot of people.
our issue is fashion, actually.
Mm.
And I always blame this on Victoria's Secret.
Wait, but why
Right.
fashion?
Why the fuck are you making bras of fashion?
Mm.
Wait,
Like,
but why is that an
because
issue
we-
for you?
okay, it's very simple actually. When we started the business 30 years ago, I wasn't even born, by the way. When bras and lingeries and undies are a commodity, it is one color, one size. Everybody brought the same bra. So the machine is boom, 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 boom. It's just the same shit all over
Right.
again, right? Every day, we're just jacking off monies. And now people are like, oh, it's independent woman. I want a sexy bra for my husband, right?
Right.
So there's 50 colors, 24 different width, and then you're like, oh, I want 500 of this, 50 of that, 10K of that. So my machine cannot operate continuously. I have to do 50 of this, cut, put in new dye, put it down, put it there, and then 50 of this,
You can't play the
cut,
fashion industry for
and
that.
then you're like, fuck, that's
You
the
can't.
way.
You can't play. Do you want to wear your white undies for the rest of your life? do you
Okay.
do you want to wear white undies? Like
You think I don't care? Like
the same pair of white undies for the rest of your life?
for me,
Yes, for you.
for me, understanding the suffering of my industry, white undies are fantastic, by the way. Just wear your fucking undie. No one cares about your sexy bra. You're gonna take that shit off anyway. Just wear a white bra for fuck's sake.
Okay. I say that, but I share the same grief from Jerry. Like, I have a lot of customers that like order very very low quantity, like 50, 100. Those are not quantities at all. That's basically like
Right.
custom make stuff. But then the same clients have maybe one big order like 10,000, and then they're like,
I mean,
oh, we
we're
also
surviving
do.
off those.
Yeah, and then like the other stuff, like the other stuff other than 10,000 is basically favors. They're all
Right.
favors.
Right.
Right.
Until
Because
they
you
give
lose
you
on that.
until they give you a big order.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying this, but of course there are like normal styles like black, white nudes that are making profit for us, but there are so many different, like there are just so many small orders that would just fuck up the whole operation.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is
look
the
at it,
annoying
at it
part.
like this, Jerry. Those small orders are investments because each small order is another opportunity for a big hit, and then the big hit will go into a big order.
No, but that's the problem. Is the big kids are ordering these shitty orders. And
No, I'm saying like
I don't want to BM my customer too much, but yeah, dude. I
no,
don't
I'm
know.
saying your customer tries new ideas, and then one idea might become a big order someday.
And the issue is when they place these stupid ass orders and they ask you, oh, why is it so expensive? Fuck
But just
you,
tell them you got low MOQ. We always told like that. You order low MOQ, price has to be
Yeah.
high.
I told them the MOQ is just, oh, I don't want to buy that much. Shut the fuck up, man. Look,
Actually-
weird ass colors, man.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
so many colors.
I mean that's what gets them, right? That's what the variety is what gets the customer. Because like you said, everybody like the white undie is like kind of boring or whatever, and then so that's why maybe like in like a woman's wardrobe, there's like 50% is like all white. Yeah, sure, there is a need for it, right? But if they want to like color it up, flavor it up, you know, for their husband or whatever, then they would need like these special color or like these special orders that, you know, that's I understand. What I'm trying to say is I understand, but I also like agree that since the scale is so low, sure, of course, it makes more sense to that it's going to cost more. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
That's the annoying part is, yeah, I need to be really careful with this. It's like
It's actually more expensive to produce 50 units than to produce 10,000 units.
Oh yeah,
Because
it
you're,
is.
you're taking the same time for
It's a
setup.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then machine could just pump out 10,000 like but if you just pump up 50 and then you have to switch dies again, blah blah blah.
Fucking
More
annoying,
manual work.
man.
yeah.
So dumb, and there are more faults if you keep switching, because the die will actually mix together, and the customer, ooh, why is this more red? Why is this more red? Because you ordered red
yeah.
just now. Retard.
I mean, it's just part of every
Why is this
production
yellow
industry.
red? Why is this yellow
industrial
red?
industry.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I mean,
Actually,
like,
Sorry.
it's because China is being like in the transitional stage. Like before they're still like developing like as like a the world's factory basically, and they will take in any orders. But now you get to the point where they actually have like rising costs, and they have to care about how I'm gonna which orders will be more beneficial.
I mean, it is it's interesting because we all know that manufacturers are switching to Vietnam and like Cambodia, Bangladesh, those places. But right now, I think China's advantage is still the technology and the efficiency and the culture of the people. That's pretty much it. Is the operation cost is just getting higher and higher, which is something that is super interesting because people say that, oh, it's a sweatshop. Like, yeah, sure, it's a sweatshop, but it's still a really fucking expensive sweatshop.
Right.
I'm not gonna condone all the sweatshop aspect of that, but it's not cheap
Yeah.
to operate in China. That's why people are moving out, and what keeps us from being in China is the technology and the efficiency. That's it. It's like China make good product. As much as you hate the sweatshop aspect, it's still really good product. That's why people are still in China.
Actually, for China's transition right now, they're actually transitioning to a more not like a manufacturing based economy, but more of a production of like software and technology.
Yeah, I
And
would
that's
say
the
that,
transition
yeah.
you have to make to get into like be more of a first world country, and they're in the middle of that. I personally worked with people from Vietnam and also India, but they're not ready to just replace China. They're totally not ready.
They don't have the
they don't-
existing infrastructures in place for that.
No, not. It's not about the infrastructure. They have the infrastructure. They have the factories. I think the most important thing about the biggest issue of them is the communication and the work ethics, and just basic like basic logic. Here, I'll tell you a story. I was asking for a sample. It was like a decorative piece, and they made it out of duct tape.
No fucking
What?
way.
Yes, no, I'm serious.
What?
Like, okay, in the front you can't see it, right? And then I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, send it to me. And when it sent it to me, the back was
The
held by
back
duct
is all
tape.
duct tape.
Oh my
Holy
I was like,
shit.
what the heck? Like, why would they even think this is fine?
Right.
Presentable.
But like,
That's
they were like,
fucked up. It's the ethics and
I don't know.
it's the
just-
culture.
Maybe it's experience. Like,
Well, I mean
don't know.
that's right. I mean it's all that.
like,
It's all
if,
that.
if
actually.
someone done that and they got rejected, I'm sure they would like tell them not to do it again.
Right.
Well, yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
you're their first like customer. Say, hey, wait, duct tape. Because of this
That's
duct tape,
bullshit.
I can't go
That's
on.
I really don't know. I really don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like it's actually interesting because you guys know like Elon Musk posted and saying that people need to work, like come back to work because people in factory are working much longer hours, right? And he's like, he's not wrong. Especially not wrong in the Chinese factory that he owns. I mean, it's in the lockdown, but like, I'm very sure those guys are working 24/7.
Right, right.
Wait, no,
Like just
wasn't there a statistics of like which sector of Tesla was like working the hardest? I think it was like China factory, like the
I-
Chinese factory.
okay. Even if they don't say it's the China one, I'm very sure there are some hidden statistic that shows that they are
I mean,
working a lot more hours than
okay,
the
I'm not
American
saying anything, but
counterpart.
like if yeah, given the whole world, like what Giga Berlin, Giga Texas, Giga.
Yeah, yeah,
If I was in China
yeah,
working with Tesla, I
yeah.
would work my ass off. I will not lose my Tesla job. But if I was in Berlin, I mean, I could find some other
Right.
auto factory, whatever.
Right, right.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's the thing. Like if we understand how a factory works, China factories are brutal. They work you to death. They don't like oh the regulation is this and that. It's like no, I want this done. Get it done or you're fired. That's China. and the workers don't be like but I need to go home to feed my kids. Like no,
Right.
you're gonna stay until you finish this shit. Like
Right.
that's the mentality of Chinese. Like
They're actually starting to import like Vietnamese workers. I mean, those are like illegal, but like yeah, and they
oh
do
yeah,
it
I'm not
because
surprised. Yeah.
it's already getting cheaper than just like hiring actual
Oh,
Chinese
for
workers.
sure,
Oh.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's not cheap to hire
Oh.
Chinese.
No,
But it's not only the wage that's the issue. It's the whole dynamic that everything is getting more expensive. That's the issue. And actually, surprisingly, as much as people hate China and the pollution, both the factories that I was involved, like one of the biggest expenses, the water treatment, for us.
no, they're actually. I mean, yes, China's known for the.
It's forced upon, by the way, by the government.
I
So is
know,
that for
yeah,
the-
they were known for their carbon emissions be the
Yeah,
highest.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
But then the government is also doing a lot to like limit pollution nowadays.
I think
It's
they know they
super
fucked up
strict.
and trying
It's
to
super
save it.
strict.
Yeah, so that's actually a huge expense for us. It's actually the environmental part of the business. It's so fucking expensive.
Super expensive. But right now they're even like at least from my European clients, you actually have to start filling out this like carbon emissions form and like calculate every single like carbon you release to the atmosphere.
Wow.
Right now it's still bullshit. It's totally not working, but the whole trend is going there, and like it's gonna get really complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, so we started doing like recycling elastics, right? Because how that works is majority of the recycling product actually comes from fish nets. That's what I've heard of. Like because fish net is like big enough to like recycle down to the raw material, right? But I'm always super conflicted with that, right? Like imagine if okay, first thing is super fucking expensive. The elastics are like fucking insane expenses to make a recycling product. Another thing is I don't think the supply is there. Like, how many fucking fish net do you need to make so many bras? So
Actually, there's a lot of fish nets out there.
no, but it's not
From-
enough to make. Okay, we don't. Okay, one recycling elastic, let's say 100%, it's maybe 40% recycling material.
They
It's
mix
not
some
the
other
whole
stuff.
thing. Yeah, they need to mix in and then like, oh, we're environmentally friendly, whoop whoop, you know, that's how it works, right? But like my manager always say like, oh, at the end it's just bullshit because we'll just start making normal elastic and say they're recycled.
Oh my god.
Because like there's not enough there's not enough fish
Supply.
nets to
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
make that. And it's not only for us, right? there are like many companies that are doing recycling, many people that are doing fishnets. Like the first thing is like, is there enough people buying that product? And the second thing is there enough raw material for us to recycle?
Probably cheaper for you to buy real new fishnets. It just
Right.
it's
Bro,
why is so
yeah,
yeah, why is so expensive? Because people have to collect the nets and then they have to clean the
right. It's
nets
the
and
process,
then they have to
right?
like make sure it's
Clean
like good
it,
to like
yeah,
give you as a material. Like
right.
you might as well just buy like
Yeah, dude. It's like
New nets. Yeah.
and another joke is they just like, because there are a lot of like wastage in my industry, like there are like a lot of like, oh, this didn't work out, so we cut it and then we throw it in the bin. Okay, we take those and then we go recycle it and then use that again.
no, I mean a lot of industry does that too.
I mean, yeah, but
Especially
that's
like
gonna be wasted
plastics and
cost.
metals.
I mean, that would be fantastic. I love environmentally ideas, but it's not very viable.
Yeah. It's not.
I want it to work. You know what I mean?
Right, like it's sure, like in a perfect environment, yeah, everything we use we can recycle it, upcycle it, whatever, right? But it's highly impractical and also might, like you said, cost more than actually making it from scratch. And so I think sure, like recycling is it comes from a good intention, but actually having a solution that is favorable to people that they want to do it, because if it's not, if you enforce it that, oh, you have to make 100 tons of like recycled bras or whatever, and that would just blow like the existing industry companies in the industry like out of the race, right? Because if I cannot afford this to make that because I'm losing margins on it, then it's not feasible for the company to do that.
Hey, that's actually an interesting point. I forgot if I heard this from like a video or like a book. Um, the what you explained just now that it didn't work for the economy, totally makes sense for our current capitalistic market. The idea, so that's why the idea of like being environmentally friendly needs to start from the consumer. So the consumer needs to like want or
Wants
like
it.
choose to have environmental goods, and
Yeah.
and as a process drive away people that don't. So make them basically that means put them out of business. And also in the process, manufacturers will also find cheaper and cheaper ways to create environmentally good products. So that it is possible if the consumers decide that, like in the free market, if the consumers actively choose environmental over other like alternatives, and they will work. Right now, we're in the transitional period, so that everything is still too expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, that you bring up a very, very good point, because I remember. So we all have a friend that like actually sells upcycled clothes, like Chewan.
Yeah.
So and I looked in her store once.
Shout out to what was her
Pop Sits.
pop something.
Yeah, Pop
Shout
Sits.
out! Whoop,
Shout
whoop.
out! We're gonna put the link. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna
go buy
I don't
from
know,
her.
just like
Go
pop
buy from
something.
her.
Really
Very
cool.
ethical. Koreans are fantastic.
Yeah, so I and I looked at their thing. They make like dresses. They make some fashionable items. And because they have a market for people who thinks that, oh, they are more environmentally focused, and whatever they wear, it has to be upscale or it has to be upcycled, and it cannot. They want to get rid of this whole industry where they're just like printing T-shirts out of like whatever, right? So that's why their price point is justified. So maybe a dress that you can get for $100, they sell it for maybe $800. But because you as a consumer think that, oh, this is worth it, then then they are willing to buy that, and they're able to survive in that environment with that price tag. And I see if that's where it's pushing all of the clothing industry, sure. If that is the biggest like next trend, right, then sure, in 2, 3, 4 generations, everything would be upcycled and everything maybe
Oh, that would be
the
fantastic.
price would be reduced, but we wouldn't think, because for me, when I look at it, oh, I wouldn't wear that because that kind of looks weird or whatever. But maybe in like few generations later, that is the style, that is the fashion. So if that one, helps the environment. Two, people accept it. Then of course that's like the best solution, right? But
Yeah,
like you said, since we're transitioning, it takes time and also takes some sacrifices, and people who are willing to make those sacrifices.
Yeah, I think
I,
we need to
I
understand like it's not a new thing.
Right,
Like this
right.
technology is
It's
there.
been around.
It's just too expensive for us to work on it. It's there. It's not only my industry. It's all the industry.
Yeah, everything.
don't even
Everyone, like
know how.
cans, plastic, like everything. Like this fucking glasses, my dad glasses. These are all recyclable.
Right,
It's just not working.
right.
I don't even know how like the fashion industry is gonna get like sustainable and like with the love of like fast fashion. Like
Oh,
people love
fuck
fast
that.
fashion so much.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Every-
the thing. Like I love fast fashions. All my pants are fast fashions, but
You're
at
part
the
of the
same
problem.
time, they are really fucking up everything. They are like as much as I love mass producing, I can't get into that
Right.
that business. So yeah,
Actually,
I'm a bit salty.
so I wouldn't say that I don't care too much about fashion and stuff. But for me as a consumer, I just want a shirt, like a simple shirt, right? That lasts like longer. For fast fashion or whatever. If the whole point is that I'll throw out my closet every few months or like every month, I have to replace my whole closet with like new shirt or whatever, new shoes. Then it's like at that point you're just chasing something that doesn't end, right?
But Gabriel, isn't this exactly what you were talking about, like about the light bulbs?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, H&M is like purposely using the most cheapest,
Yeah.
like whatever materials they could get,
Mm-hmm.
and they just practically make it so that you just wear it for once. And
Right,
throw it away.
exactly. It is like the same concept, right? They keep wanting, they need people to keep buying. That's why they keep coming out with like new phases or like new designs.
Dude,
The new
that's the
catch.
That's the weird thing is the clothes are actually not bad. That's the conflicting part. It's
Right,
like
right.
you can wear it for a long time.
Right.
It's just whether or not you have the consciousness to throw it away and buy a new one because there's a new season out.
Right, right.
Have you guys heard of Shein? Shein. I don't know what the name of it is. Shein. It's one of the it's going big in America actually.
Never heard of it.
It's a company. It's
Are
a
you
Chinese
Chinese?
company that
Oh, okay.
that makes fast fashion with AI produced designs.
Mm.
And every single day they add in 2,000 new designs. Clothes.
2,000?
Every
Fuck.
single day. Yeah.
Dude, this
AI
worse. It's
generated.
worse than the fucking ape
Wow.
Yeah.
NFT. Man.
They study trends. They study
That's
like
insane.
people's like
That's insane.
yeah, like the ongoing fashion trend, and they just pump out like 2,000 styles per day. They make a batch, and next batch, keep going. It's like the whole fashion industry is on like overdrive for like yeah, this
Yeah.
type
But
of
dude, I love that idea though. Like the AI aspect of that
yeah.
idea, I love
It's
it.
such a
So
good
cool.
Right.
such a
But
good selling point, right? Like I would want to.
environmentally,
No, they didn't even
I love
mention
the
the word
idea though.
environmental
That's
because they
so
know it's
cool though.
impossible. It's
They, but I love it.
yeah, it sounds really
Dude,
cool.
this
It's
is
a really
so
good.
fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess it
2000.
only works if everyone the whole environmental friendly thing only works if everyone is on board, right? And I think
yeah.
this is what they're
Oh
trying
yeah.
to this is what they're trying to push with the reduce emission by whatever at like the Paris whatever environmental
Paris
summit or
Accords.
something. Yeah. And
Oh, the one that Biden slapped.
He slept on everything. I don't know which one.
Even Boris, Boris Johnson was like, "Fuck this! This is so fucking dumb," and then everyone just leave on their private jet home.
Right. I forgot who said this, but the analogy is that it only works. What they should be doing is that, let's say, imagine the Earth is a boat, right? And if everyone is only fending for themselves, eventually the boat is going to fall down. So idea is that everyone needs to chip in and realize that, we want to save this environment. And that's why if everyone does it, if everyone, recycles or whatever, then sure, the cog works. But then if there's one or like few individuals who only want their like selfish gains, and which is justifiable. People want to make money, right? Who wants to lose money? And so that's why this issue is it's so hard to like enforce, right?
It's like it's not even like the few minorities. Like as long as we get the majority to hop on this train, that's enough. Like
Right.
it's gonna make a change.
I do
Like you
agree.
know how oysters and like some of the filter sea animals have like a small percentage of plastic within them now.
Microplastics.
Yeah, we are literally eating plastic. Like it's coming back to us. It's like biting our ass,
I
right?
think they already found like someone
It's
with
sad.
microplastics in their bloodstream in like India or something.
Oh,
I'm not
jeez.
surprised. It's
Yeah.
gonna fuck us up. But
Yeah.
depressing. But at least I got a
Depressing.
plastic bag outside that collects plastic at home. I'm putting in the work.
Nice.
But I don't know how to recycle any of the cans, the paper, all those. I have no
You
fucking clue.
can't recycle plastic bags, right?
No, I know. I'm
I
just
mean, you
saying
could
I'm
try to
trying
use
to
it more,
recycle.
but
Oh, no.
it still takes like 10 million years to degrade.
Yeah,
is it? I forgot.
I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with the plastics that they collect, right? That's
Oh, they just
their.
they just
I'm
throw it
just
into
doing my
the
best.
they just throw it into the
A third world country
uh
and have them, throw it in some landfill. That's literally what they do. That's literally before China they would send every for Western countries they would send all of their plastics to China and they would sort it and then they would try to recycle it. But since China now is
they throw it back in Cambodia.
yeah, they throw it back because they're like, oh, we make enough money now. We're trying to like become more like go for higher income, right? These scrap plastics, we don't need this at all anymore.
Yep.
So now
Yep.
China doesn't accept them, so they go to Cambodia now. But what if like Cambodia blows up and like they don't need it anymore?
I believe
What are we
the thing that you just said, there was another consideration. It was cheaper to actually ship the trash to China than to actually bury it. I think that was one of the
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like
I'm
a
not
hot
surprised if
potato
that's the
that nobody
case.
wants, but everybody produces.
Yeah. Fuck.
Right.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Send it to
Everyone,
space.
Do your part, guys. Do your part.
Type it out. Like, yeah, I think it's actually a good idea to like charge the consumer for all the cleanup fee of the product too, like at the end of the life cycle.
Interesting.
That way, recycled goods would be much more incentivized. Like I don't know, like using like wood cutlery or like stuff like that.
I mean, that's interesting, right? As a person that don't buy any clothes, that's a pretty good idea.
Right?
I
Like
don't-
you
I-
want
I-
fast
I-
fashion, you pay for how you're gonna like deal with it
Ooh,
later.
I like that.
But it has to
the
be like a
environmental tax. Oh, that is a
Yeah,
thing.
it's
The
like a
environmental
tax.
tax. Yeah, that is a thing. But it never got passed, right?
I mean, they have
I heard
that,
I
like,
heard of it.
they usually, well, I mean, I think the government tries to incentivize that. I mean, for at least for Hong Kong, they charge you a tax for having like a normal car, and electric car they charge you much less.
Oh,
that.
that's the another great thing. I love electric cars. Like it's great. Oh, we could get into conspiracy theory, but maybe that's it for another episode. Have you guys heard of the cobalt? The cobalt China mines?
What about it?
Oh, maybe next episode.
Maybe next time. We don't have time.
we really don't have any time.
All right.
But yeah.
Wait, okay, yeah.
No,
I was just gonna ask you about the mafia.
What mafia?
Oh, the light bulb.
yeah, you didn't
mafia?
say. Tell me about
It's what you said. I think it's called. It's not mafia. It's cartel because it's like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like the light bulb cartel or whatever.
Yeah, mafias are Italian. Know your shit.
Where like I think throughout the world there's like 4, 5, 6 like big companies like you said that manufacture these light bulbs, right? And that's why they all agreed. Okay, since our light bulbs last forever, let's just cap it at like X hours, and then whoever that. And every year they check their light bulb. Your design. Oh, this actually on average it goes more than this X hour. So for each unit that you sell, we're gonna fine you for that much amount, and you have to pay up. And like,
I heard of that.
And in history, people have went through that benchmark, and they have to pay up. And then I think at the end, the cartel like kind of broke apart because there were too many violations or whatever, and then
They're
or like it's
fuck
unethical
this,
or
I
whatever.
can't deal with this shit.
Right, and then so I think currently, like I'm sure there's some form of that. Like you said, people they come into agreement where there are these regulations, and instead of like these behind the scene cartel, these are actual regulations that like companies have to meet. So it still exists, but in a form that we accept it more, I guess.
Right, you see, you know something is a bad idea when the cartel is like, fuck, I can't make any money out of that. Like, if the cartel can't make money out of that, so fuck off, right? That's just a bad idea. Let's rethink this over.
All right, so we have talked about a lot of like different topics, but I think our message finally is do your part. If you want things to change in the world, you start from you, and hopefully people do the same. You find people with like similar ideas, which you want to save the environment, and things will eventually change if we all agree to it. And that's it for this episode of the Lemon Tea Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will. Oh, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, everything. Do everywhere. Blah, blah,
Hit
blah.
the bell button.
Yeah.
Listen to us on Spotify. Hey, it's finally a normal topic and not Mandela catalog, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys can actually listen to this
I'm
instead
trying
of
to
just
save the planet.
us listening to audios.
Yeah, and well, we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.